पापा के स्टाइल में आज रिव्यू करेंगे हम लोग KTM 390 Enduro R को। पापा वॉज इन्वाइटेड टू दी राइड इवेंट फॉर दी KTM Enduro। बहुत लोग आते हैं, बहुत बड़ी बड़ी पब्लिकेशन जैसे कि पावर ड्रिफ्ट हो गया, ऑटो कार हो गया, एवरीवन वाज देयर। 2 days इवेंट था, दे ऑल मेक वीडियोस एंड ऑल, बट ये पापा का स्टाइल नहीं है कि वहाँ पे खड़े होकर वीडियो बनाए। आई वॉन्टेड टू जस्ट गो एंड enjoy, so that's what I did. I went there, I wanted to enjoy, I want to understand the motorcycle. अपने स्टाइल में पापा सार वीडियो करेंगे जहाँ पे I rode it, I come back, I reviewed my watts, I talked to people, I understood their point of view, I recollected my thoughts. अब उसको recollect करने के बाद now I want to take this opportunity and talk about this motorcycles, और उसी के साथ हम लोग स्पार्क प्लग्स देंगे, ठीक है, डिफरेंट पॉइंट्स पे पापा स्टाइल स्पार्क प्लग्स देंगे। तो इस वीडियो के एंड में क्या आपको जानने को मिलेगा कि विल आई बाय दिस मोटरसाइकिल और नॉट, क्योंकि मैं बहुत दिनों से बातें कर रहा हूं, बहुत महीनों से बातें कर रहा हूं एक्चुअली इसके ऊपर कि आई एम एक्चुअली वेरी एक्साइटेड फॉर द KTM 390 Enduro R टू लॉन्च। बहुत दिनों से बातें कर रहा हूं। नाउ आई कैन मेक अप माई माइंड, विल आई बी सेलिंग ऑफ माई XPulse एंड पिक अप अ 390 Enduro R। एक और चीज मैं कंफर्म करना चाहता हूं, पापा इज नो मोटो जर्नलिस्ट। आई एम nowhere close to any motor journalist, nor I want to be one, but I am enthusiast. As a motorcycle enthusiast, has been riding for 10 plus years. Extensively मैंने XPulse चलाई है जो मैं ओन करता हूं, तो उसी को लेके मैं कंपैरिजन करूंगा। और मैं इस वीडियो में कोई स्पेक शीट के ऊपर बातें नहीं करूंगा, ये इसमें ये है, इसमें वो है। ओके, आई यूजुअली डोंट लाइक स्पेक शीट्स एंड ऑल, राइट। राइडिंग द मोटरसाइकिल speaks a lot about the motorcycle than reading the spec sheet. और सबसे बड़ी चीज जो बहुत लोग रो रहे थे जब ये बाइक को शोकेस किया गया ऑन ड्यूरिंग द राइड, दैट लॉट ऑफ पीपल स्टार्टेड क्राइंग अबाउट द इंटरनेशनल स्पेक Enduro R वी नॉट गेटिंग इन इंडिया। ठीक है, हम लोग को जो मिल रहा है वो इंडियन स्पेक Enduro R मिल रहा है, विच वॉज डिसअपॉइंटिंग फॉर मी ऑल्सो। तो सस्पेंशन बेसिकली उसमें अफेक्टेड है, तो उसके ऊपर भी बात करेंगे वीडियो के एंड तक। ओके, बेटर और वर्स देन KLX 230 इन योर राइडिंग। अभी KLX 230 से कंपेयर नहीं करेंगे, अभी हम लोग कंपेयर करेंगे XPulse से मोस्टली, राइट। क्योंकि व्हाट आई अंडरस्टैंड कि बहुत सारे जो XPulse राइड करते हैं, दे वर वेटिंग फॉर दिस मोटरसाइकिल टू कम आउट सो दैट दे कैन अपग्रेड। दैट्स व्हाट इवन आई वाज प्लानिंग टू डू, एंड आई टेल यू द रीजन व्हाई आई वाज प्लानिंग टू अपग्रेड फ्रॉम एन XPulse। विल इट मेक सेंस टू अपग्रेड, तो उसके ऊपर बात करेंगे बिल्कुल। पहला पॉइंट जो मैं बात करना चाहता हूं कि एंड्यूरो नाम जो है इनका, KTM वालों ने नाम Enduro तो दिया है, बट दिस इज नॉट एन Enduro। मे बी अ मोटरसाइकिल टू एंटर द Enduro scene, to start learning doing some Enduro stuff, but not at all an Enduro bike. This is more of a dual sport motorcycle। इंटरनेशनल वेबसाइट पे जाओ, थैंक यू सो मच सूरज, तो आपको ये मोटरसाइकिल Enduro, ये क्या हुआ पापा को अटक गए तो ये मोटरसाइकिल आपको Enduro कैटेगरी के अंदर नहीं मिलेगी, ये रखा गया ड्यूल स्पोर्ट कैटेगरी के अंदर। नाउ आई थिंक दे वेंट विद Enduro नेम, दैट आल्सो R दैट आल्सो डूड। R का मतलब कि हाई स्पेक। नो, वन थिंग वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अदर ड्यूल स्पोर्ट मोटरसाइकिल, दे आर डेरिवेशन फ्रॉम देयर ऑफ-रोड सेंट्रिक मोटरसाइकिल्स, राइट। दे MX मोटरसाइकिल, ये ऑफ-रोड बाइक दैट कैन बी यूज्ड ऑन रोड ऑल्सो। लेकिन इस बाइक में क्या है डिफरेंस दिस ड्यूल स्पोर्ट एंड्यूरो में, कि दिस बाइक हैज एक्चुअली बीन डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम अ स्ट्रीट बाइक। सो अ स्ट्रीट बाइक दैट कैन बी यूज्ड हेवीली ऑफ रोड। सो यू नीड टू कीप दैट इन माइंड दैट इट्स अ मोटरसाइकिल दैट इज डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम अ स्ट्रीट मोटरसाइकिल, राइट, एंड दैट इज टू कीप द प्राइस इन चेक। So deriving it from a MX motorcycle and making a dual sport for Indian market, it would have been very expensive. Price जो है अभी इसका, it's 3.36 lakhs ex showroom, which is a very good price. तो ये बात हो गई कि this is not a Enduro, this is a dual sport motorcycle that is like 70% off-road, 30% road basically. It shouldn't be called an Enduro R, it should have been just called an Enduro। और जब ये टॉप स्पेक इंटरनेशनल स्पेक मोटरसाइकिल लाते हैं इंडिया में, they should have called it Enduro R. Same way how they're doing it Adventure 390, right? And we have the same suspension setup from 390 Adventure. So why to call it R? I don't know. They really screw up with their naming convention, man. Bike is light, right? Bike is 177 kg, but that is because of Indian spec motorcycle needs a sadi guard, needs a handrail, and the engine guard. So once you remove that, it becomes 170 kg. नेमिंग कन्वेंशन के लिए तो भाई पापा देंगे 2 स्पार्क प्लग, but it's gonna get better as we go ahead. Oh, check this out. There was a lot of steep decline and going up. Superb trail, lovely trail. Next point है आपका engine, the power train, the power, the torque of this motorcycle. It comes from the same LC4 engine that we see on a Duke, even on Adventure 390. पर यहाँ पे क्या है ना कि it has a much bigger sprocket, rear sprocket. That is to compensate for the bigger wheel also, the 18-inch, and also to have that enough power in early rev range, right? So that way the bike just chucks, man. The bike just chucks. It just climbs and just chucks rocks and stuff like that only, man. That way I love the tractability of the engine, man. Very tractable engine, very nice, fun to ride. Open a throttle and it just rips through. We had on the trail now, we had multiple terrains. We had big round rocks, we had a lot of steep decline, incline, then water crossing, every kind of terrain, and then free flowing sections and all. Just open a throttle, very nice, and the engine was doing everything comfortably. The power and the torque is enough. Lovely, man. The whole powertrain, I'll easily give it a 5 spark plug. I think this is the best part of the motorcycle. XPulse से compare करें तो XPulse में क्या होता है? Tuning and computer style engine also, man. It's out of the box. You have to do a lot of things if you want to start pushing it. That is okay. I have made a lot of tweak to it. That's why it feels much better now. And also one of the biggest drawback for me with the XPulse, for which I want to upgrade, was the performance on street, right? For example, I'm going to certain trail or I'm going to my dirt park or something. I don't have enough power, nor I have enough money to buy a Hilux or something to keep XPulse behind. So I wanted something that has enough power to do all this on the side. A street, usable on street also. But remember, a 9-liter tank only. So if you're planning to tour on it, that will be difficult. But if you just want to go to a trail, do a trail, come back, perfect. This engine is perfect. You'll get decent average also, depending on how you ride it, right? If you start pushing the hell out of it, then you're gonna get bad average and you're gonna keep doing multiple stops at the fuel station. Okay, next part पे आते हैं, वो है आपका ergonomics. The ergonomics of the motorcycle. The adjustability of the motorcycle. How good is it? I was doing the whole of trail standing, perfect standing position, perfect handlebar position for me, no doubt. Even when you're sitting so close to the handlebar because the tank is smaller, you're sitting much more closer, which again on XPulse you cannot do. XPulse में आपका standing position in the वाहियात है और sitting भी वाहियात है. You're sitting so much far away from the handlebar, which is not good for doing off-road and all. You have to again do a lot of changes to the motorcycle, which I've done, and it works fine for me now. But anyways, out of the box, perfect setup. और क्या इसमें adjustability है, like foot pegs. There are 2 settings basically. So you can change the 2 settings and use it as per your liking. फिर उसके बाद आपका है the levers are adjustable also. Handlebar also has multiple adjustability. Man, that is also downright 5 spark plug. अभी next point पे बात कर लेते हैं, वो है आपका the build quality. Okay, जो जैसे कि आपकी plastics हो गए, okay, all those. So plastic is a हार्ड मोल्डेड प्लास्टिक जो KTM वाले अपनी ऑफ रोड व्हीकल्स में यूज करते हैं. ओके, दे आर वेरी ड्यूरेबल, सो दे आर यूजिंग द सेम थिंग ऑन दिस मोटरसाइकिल ऑल्सो 390 एडवेंचर पे भी. उससे क्या होता है कि अगर आप गिरोगे पिड़ोगे तो वो जल्दी खराब नहीं होती हैं. द ओनली ड्रॉबैक इज गंदी जल्दी होती हैं, दे गेट डर्टी. So you need to do something about it. Get a PPF done or whatever. If you like dirty motorcycle, I like my off-road motorcycle to be dirty, so I am totally fine. But there is one issue with the build quality, which I think with most KTM motorcycles are. जब गिरती पड़ती है ना, थोड़ा चलाने के बाद पता चलता है कि थोड़ी चीज़ें ढीली हो रही हैं. And I felt that too. जैसे कि कुछ लोग जंप मारे तो उनका साइड स्टैंड का स्प्रिंग निकल के फेंका गया. जो टॉगल स्विच होता है ना, जिससे हम लोग चेंजेस कर सकते हैं कंसोल में, योर ट्रैक्शन कंट्रोल एंड ABS एंड ऑल दोस जैज, योर राइडिंग मोड्स, वो जो बटन था ना, एक बार मैं बस टेस्टिंग कर रहा था, गाड़ी को नीचे गिरा के और हल्के से रखा था मैंने नीचे, ये नहीं कि पटक दिया, बीच में थोड़ा सा गिरी नीचे, लेकिन ज़्यादा जोर से नहीं, तो उसमें वो जो बटन था ना वो निकल के फेंका गया. सो दैट इज दैट इज वन थिंग. सो ओवरऑल दिखने में तो बहुत खतरनाक बिल्ड क्वालिटी है, लेकिन जैसे जैसे आप चलाएंगे थोड़ा तो आपको केटीएम में दिखेगा ऊपर नीचे. इतना भी पनीर नहीं खिलाया मेरे को केटीएम वालों ने. तो बिल्ड क्वालिटी को ओवरऑल आई थिंक आई गिव इट अ 4 स्पार्क प्लग. नेक्स्ट चीज है कि इसमें इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स की ऊपर बात कर लेते हैं. ठीक है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में भर भर के दिए है जो मेरे को समझ में नहीं आता. I have not seen other dual sports with this level of electronics. Lean sensitive traction control. Even in off-road mode, you have traction control. And they are proposing this motorcycle as for beginners to enter off-roading. I think that's a lot of nannying. Nannying for someone who's entering into being a beginner motorcycle off-roader or something. I don't understand so much electronics in a dual sport. Personally, I feel they should have kept it to a minimum. ऑल दिस इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, बिकॉज क्या होता है ना कि कुछ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक का बूम हो गया, आप एडवेंचर कर रहे हो, यू स्टार्ट गेटिंग एरर, गॉड नोस हाउ इज गोना रिएक्ट द मोटरसाइकिल. सो आई एम नॉट दैट इंटरेस्टेड विद इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स. पर्सनली इफ आई गेट दिस मोटरसाइकिल आई एम गोना switch off everything when I'm doing off-road. Yes, these electronics will come useful when you're doing when you're riding very fast on the highway or something, then yeah, I'll keep them on. But when I'm doing trails and all those, it was not intrusive. I'll say the traction control that you have in the off-road mode was not at all intrusive. They are told that they kept it very less intrusive. When your rear wheel actually going very far away, then it comes in. But other than that, it works fine. I don't know, man. I'm not really sure. For example, that's why I like XPulse. XPulse is bare bone. My XPulse has only single channel ABS, more than enough, nothing else. No traction control, nothing. People have been doing rallying on it. People are doing adventures on it. I have not seen anyone die. They learn from their faults. I don't know. Good place to start from. I don't know. That's what I think. I think I'll give it a 4 spark plug for the electronics. 3.5 to 4 spark plug. Yeah, around that. Engine vibrations. Okay, so chat push rahi how's the engine vibrations. We only rode it on the off-road. We didn't get to ride on a tarmac much. Very, very small patch we got for tarmac. On the off-road part, we were revving it out. We were riding mostly to first to third gear. And in that, I didn't feel any major vibrations. For example, on the 390 Adventure, there is a major vibration on your foot peg at a certain RPM. I think it's 4000 RPM. But on this, I didn't feel that major vibration in the foot peg, even though there is no those rubber mounts in the foot pegs. The rubber mounts in 390 Adventure foot peg is this fat, and still you feel the vibration. For some reason, in this, you don't feel that vibration at all. So vibration-wise, I was pretty fine, man. I was like, that's how a single cylinder should vibrate, normal. Okay, next is vibration की बात हो गई. सस्पेंशन के ऊपर बात कर लेता है. बहुत लोग रो रहे थे जब ये बाइक को हम लोग शोकेस किया राइड करते हुए बहुत लोगों ने, और पता चला कि ये इंडिया स्पेक जो 390 एंड्यूरो आर ही है, एंड्यूरो आर सॉरी, उसमें जो सस्पेंशन सेटअप है, सस्पेंशन जो हैं दैट इज द सेम एज द 390 एडवेंचर. सो इट्स नोवेयर नियर एंड्यूरो आर. So lot of people were psyched off because बहुत लोगों को लग रहा था कि we are gonna get the Enduro R, the international spec one with taller suspension. तो ये है 200 mm travel, okay? और जो international spec है that is a 230 mm travel. What KTM justified was, KTM को पता था कि लोग पगलाने वाले हैं. So KTM told us before only कि I know you will be psyched off when we will say that it has a 200 mm. It is because to keep the height low, so that it's a beginner friendly motorcycle. अब इंडिया में क्या है ना कि हम लोग के मेंटल ब्लॉकेज है कि हम फ्लैट फुट नहीं कर पाते हैं, दोनों पैर नीचे नहीं रख पाते हैं. एंड एक्चुअली हेल्प्स इन ऑफ रोड ऑल्सो फॉर बिगनर्स, बिकॉज फिर गिरोगे बहुत अगर दोनों पैर नीचे नहीं रख पाते हो. तो बेस्ट वे टू राइड ऑफ रोड एंड टू लर्न ऑफ रोड इज ऑलवेज 1 foot on the foot peg and 1 feet down. That is the correct way to do it. लेकिन तभी बहुत लोगों के इंडियंस में स्पेशली मेंटल ब्लॉकेज है कि दोनों पैर नीचे आना चाहिए, स्पेशली फॉर बिगनर्स. सो दैट्स व्हाई दे टोल्ड दैट दे आर गेटिंग अ एंड्यूरो आर राइट नाउ इन द मार्केट, so that people who are new beginners can get this motorcycle and are able to flat foot this motorcycle. That's why they're using the 200 mm travel suspension. Okay, that should help you guys who are beginners who want to get into off-road scene. उन्होंने कंफर्म कर दिया KTM वालों ने कि वी आर गेटिंग दिस इनटू मार्केट राइट नाउ. उससे क्या होगा कि बहुत लोग अब घुसेंगे इस मार्केट में एंड दे विल बी एबल टू टेस्ट दिस मोटरसाइकिल. अब धीरे धीरे इन फ्यू मंथ्स दे विल गेट द इंटरनेशनल स्पेक वर्जन. बेसिकली the international spec version is coming. It is confirmed for both 390 Adventure and for the 390 Enduro. Both are gonna get their R version, international spec versions coming to India soon. Most probably this year. अभी ये जो suspension है is the same as 390 Adventure. So on hardcore pushing it, like you're doing crazy jumps, it will bottom out. But if you're doing something beginner, intermediate level stuff, it is totally fine. We did jumps and all. For our usage, for my level of usage, it was perfect, the suspension setup. अपना spark plug, 4 spark plug for suspension, I feel. पहले मैं XPulse की suspension के ऊपर बात कर लेता हूँ. XPulse का suspension जो है ना, for the price, the suspension you're getting for the rally, it's too good. It's too good, man. I find XPulse suspension better than this setup. XPulse suspension gets a 5 spark plug, this one gets a 4 for now. Ground clearance is good enough. Ground clearance is not as much as XPulse. Reason is because it still gets the suspension setup as the 390 Adventure. Once the international specs comes in, then it will be same as the XPulse Pro. नेक्स्ट बात कर लेते हैं, बहुत लोग उसके ऊपर बात कर लेते हैं, अंडरबेली एग्जॉस्ट. हम लोग ऑलरेडी देख चुके हैं, KTM वालों ने दिखाया भी था अपने 390 एडवेंचर में. इट्स नॉट गोना कॉज इश्यूज व्हेन क्रॉसिंग वाटर बॉडीज, वाटर लॉजिंग नहीं होगा. वी ऑल्सो डिड वाटर क्रॉसिंग pretty deep. We're going fast also, we're going slow also. People fell also in the water. Bike was submerged, bike was running fine. It does look very weird, I'm not gonna deny it. On a dual sport motorcycle or enduro bike, having an underbelly exhaust, very weird. You do get power parts, Remus exhaust and all, but it is not gonna be available in India, I don't think so. It looks weird. It works, but it looks weird for me. 4 spark plug for that weird ass design. But look के ऊपर बात कर लेते हैं. Okay, I like the looks of the motorcycle. It looks amazing for a off-road motorcycle. See, in the video only, so looks so nice. Yeah, the small tank, that orange color, the small display, cute display. The build quality and all के ऊपर बात कर ली थी. It looks nice. The tire and all, the new indicators looks damn cool. I like the new indicators. The small headlamp that gives the proper off-road look. The proper dual sport style flat seat. Overall look, I'm a fan. I liked it. So overall look के लिए Papa is gonna give 5 spark plug. It's not a golden sprocket worthy, but 5 spark plug worthy तो है. Okay, the final question जो था, जो शुरुआत में हम लोगों ने बात की थी, am I gonna sell off my XPulse and buy this motorcycle? I think yes, but not now. When the international spec version comes into India, that's when I'm gonna do it. This motorcycle, overall, I'll tell you first of all, overall, I enjoyed it. First day was kind of hectic. जब वो आते ही trail करने पे भेज दिया और फिर they didn't give us time to understand the motorcycle. They just gave us motorcycle and told go to trails. And they said go to do this track. I want to understand the motorcycle, how the brake is reacting, how the way the clutch is biting in, how I have to stand, how to hold this motorcycle, all that jazz, right? But I didn't get time, so I couldn't understand the motorcycle so well during this ride, right? During this trail ride. But next day, we got the bike for 3 hours or something. In the morning, we took it out and they gave it us to make videos and stuff, to do off-road and do Nautanki on it, to understand the motorcycle better. And the second day, I fucking loved it. That's when I loved it. It was a lovely motorcycle to ride. How nimble it is. The weight management all is so nice, not top heavy as XPulse. So easy to pick up when you drop it. So nimble to move around. So good to stand on. Everything is perfect that way. The bike just chucks along. The bike just takes incline, decline easily. Brakes are nice. Bikes will have their pros and cons. I know the pros and cons. We already talked about it here and there. For example, even XPulse is not perfect. I had to do a lot of adjustment to the XPulse to suit me and my riding style. I have to do it. Same thing with this motorcycle also. But what I'm getting out of the box now, I'm very happy. The pros that I'm getting over XPulse, I'm very happy. Issues, for example, will be, the parts will be a bit expensive than XPulse. And even XPulse has its own reliability issues. This one also will have its own reliability issues. Riding the 390 Enduro R was more fun. It took less effort. And that's when I decided ki, yeah, I'm gonna sell off my XPulse and buy an Enduro R, but not now. Because I want better spec Enduro R, right? I'm gonna wait for the international Enduro R to launch. It will make more sense because I'm used to better suspension. I'll say still XPulse has a better suspension than the Enduro R. So I'm not gonna degrade my suspension setup just to pick up a Enduro R. I'm gonna wait for the international spec Enduro R to come in. It will be a taller motorcycle, but I'm used to tall motorcycle. That is the whole purpose of getting XPulse, was to get used to tall motorcycle. I want suspension and good ergonomics. The power, the early rev range power. Okay, that's all I need. This motorcycle is able to provide that to take my skill to the next level, but I will need better suspension. If you're a beginner, this motorcycle will work for you. Though the power that is producing kind of scary, but it will work for you. Okay, for the overall motorcycle, I am gonna give a 5 spark plug, but I will ask my जनता to give spark plugs. Okay, तो जनता ने मिलके और पापा साहब ने मिलकर दिया है 5 spark plug to KTM 390 Enduro R.